Rema is a fantastic artist. We need to acknowledge that. We need to understand that. At a recent interview, he came out to say, you know what? I've not used a ghost writer. I don't use songwriters, and I've not used it for once. And that is a big one for Rema. I think for you to achieve the kind of level of Rema, you must have used a ghost writer. But this guy has not used one, and that has actually worked for him. Right now, a lot of people are really talking about the donation of 105 million naira by Rema to Christ Embassy Church, and a lot of people in the church are feeling it already. What is your own take about all of this? I'm feeling used by the uncle of Rema. That is something I can share with you based on the story I've gotten so far about all of this. According to the story, I had an interview with Rema's uncle. He said a lot of things about Rema's mom and the rest, but failing to highlight what really happened between them and Rema's mom before now. Because we need to actually understand it if they want reconciliation like they say. But I'm not interested in reconciling, Rema to his uncle. What I'm interested in is at least Rema should try and honor his father better, because where they bury Rema's father deserves to be kept neatly. That is something I believe about that. But on the other hand, I'm feeling that Rema is afraid to really do that because his father and his elder brother were buried on the same plot. That is really disturbing at the time, and a lot of people are really concerned about this issue. And to an extent, Rema made a donation at the Christ Embassy Church, highlighted that when his father died, yes, they took everything away from his mom, and that made them to actually suffer to an extent. Somebody communicated to me that lived in the same street as Rema, and that I got to understand. He said, yes, they actually suffered so much that the uncles neglected them to an extent. The question I'm really asking, because recently I was discussing with Adam's Link, I got to ask some questions. If Rema's father was rich as a politician, which the uncle acknowledged, when Rema's father died, who took the possession of his wealth? Because Rema and his siblings actually suffered to an extent. Who took possession of the wealth? That is something, because based on the achievement of his father, I think Rema is supposed to ball before fame. That is what I believe about the whole story. And they started off the story because I didn't want to put out a full length of the interview, because it's going to cause a lot of things, even for me and for people and for the family out there. But I'm getting to understand that when you ask somebody to speak about something and that person is not really in tune with the other person or the other party, that person is meant to speak down on the person. That is something I got to understand. But right now, I'm saying I'm very sorry, and Rema deserves an apology from Afrobeat blog. That is what we are really talking about right now. So I've gotten to understand the story to an extent, and I think Rema should try and honor his father. That is something I keep saying, because that will bring more blessings and more prosperity to Rema. That is what I believe about all of this. Talking about Rema's musical journey, Rema's musical journey was really kind of graceful to an extent. I think Rema deserves all he's getting right now, and one of the most talented music artists from Edo State. But right now, a lot of people are trying to compare Rema's new album to that of his old album. Based on the tallies, based on the performance of the new album, I think Rema should have engaged a lot of foreign collaborators. That is what I believe about this album, so that it gets a lot of audience and a lot of props. Rema's homecoming was scintillating to an extent, almost hijacked by the politicians of Edo State. Rema, make you avoid politicians if you want to actually grow your music journey, because these people, they have a way of messing down or messing out or messing up your music career. That is something I believe about that. You should avoid politicians. If I was Rema, I would have just planned my homecoming after the election in Edo State. That would have been better. That is something I believe about that. But all the same, it was still a successful one at the end of the day. Rema gave out millions of naira to fans on that day. That is a give back from Rema at the time. Let's talk about Afrobeat. Afrobeat is something we need to keep. I keep saying this from time to time. A lot of people are really interested in keeping Afrobeat, just like what Fela did in the past. Fela was really pressured to sell out his music catalog for almost $1 million far back then, but Fela didn't sell it. A lot of people didn't understand what Fela was trying to do. Fela was trying to actually keep Afrobeat, and now we are reaping the dividends of Afrobeat. Afrobeat is worth more than $4 billion in Nigeria right now, based on the recent financial records. That is something I believe about Afrobeat, and we should find a way to start gatekeeping Afrobeat. We should learn from countries like Jamaica at the time, because at the time they were on top. But right now, what happened? When America bought out some shares of their musical industry, it happened that they really adulterated it to the extent that they cannot recognize the original owners of those sounds. But that is what they are trying to do to African sounds, and I'm begging a lot of artists out there to really do something about it and try to keep Afrobeat. What are your own takes about these kind of things? Don't fail to put that in the comment section so that we can have a talk around it. Is it a crime to use a songwriter? That is the question a lot of people are really asking right now, because Davido is always blamed for using songwriters. The likes of Burna Boy has come out to say, I have never used songwriters in doing my songs. And that happens to be like, man, those people, what they do and they don't sabi anything. Let me tell you something. Using ghostwriters is always profitable in music journey. The likes of Beyonce, the likes of Rihanna, the likes of Michael Jackson, a lot of others, they use ghostwriters, and that has actually worked for them and is still working for them right now. But Rema coming out to say, I have not used ghostwriter, he's not saying that he will not use ghostwriter. So let us understand the context. Let's catch a glimpse of that.
Do you write your own music?
Yes, I do. Everything you've heard, all written by me. I've never used a songwriter in my life, um, and that's what it's been all about. The only thing I could add in composing a song is just actual producer,
Yeah.
for the beats. But when it comes to like creating, I do my thing alone. I'm mostly in the studio alone. I record most of my songs alone.
On this, what is your own take about that? Don't fail to put that in the comment section so that we can talk about it further. Kudos to you guys. Keep subscribing to Afrobeat and supporting us across social media platforms.